the press release, which I'd seen typed up, hadn't been issued. So, as I said, the Typhoon had changed direction. When I was up there at 6, a few hours later, hurriedly sending messages to the riders, apologising for getting it wrong. Thankfully, not one of them was upset. They just saw it as a heads up, much to my relief. As it was, as we know, conditions were still unsuitable to race due to the rainfall that we experienced. So anyway, let's just draw a line under that. So this year we have 20 competitors. We are a minute away from, in fact you can probably hear the signal in the background of the first bike setting off onto the track. And as I say, free practice this morning. Tomorrow morning we'll have qualifying, and then Saturday morning we will have the race itself. That's the plan, and generally things do go to plan at Macau. Last year was a bit of a freak, but as I said, it was a little bit worrying when the typhoon warnings were being issued earlier in the week, and thinking, oh no, not again, surely not. In the 25 years I've been coming to Macau, I've never known rain or any kind of weather like last year, and then to think again, having it again this year was just unprecedented. But anyway, as I say, it looks like things are on the up. 15 seconds away, you can see everybody's very relaxed, waiting to get away. So Phil Crowe, a regular at Macau, about to go out. So to Lucas Mora, number 81. Go through the racing lines in a moment. So Costello has gone out, Maurizio Bottolico is out, Phil Crowe has gone out, Lucas Mora is out, Lauren Hoffman is out, Paul Jordan has just gone out too. You see Don Gilbert, he's also making his way for the first time around the gear circuit. And Lucas Mora is the first into the first timing sector. And that is at Mandarin. Then they'll go to the second timing sector, which is up San Francisco Hill, up towards Maternity. In fact, most of the riders are now out. Jordan West is out, Michael Evans is out, Davo Johnson, Almeric Blanc is also out. In fact, it's probably easier to tell you who has sat back. Davey Todd's not gone out yet, Marcus Simpson's not gone out yet, Michael Sweeney's not gone out yet, and Peter Hickman's not gone out yet. Tend to do 2.5 minutes to complete a lap at race speed, or racing speed. And again, just chatting with the riders this morning, everyone just wanting to settle back in. Nothing really to be gained by pushing too hard in these early sessions. Again, it's free practice. None of the times will count. Tomorrow morning is when they will be looking to post some times. But even then, generally, as long as you're on the first 3 rows of the grid, you're in with a pretty good chance of a good result. So, unlike the cars here at Macau, where space is at a minimum, not such much to say, a little bit around this twisty part of the track, you'll see very few overtaking maneuvers once they start rising up the hill from San Francisco and they get down to Fisherman's. It's from there onwards, really, between Fisherman's and Lisboa, any passing moves will take place. So Erno Costomo, winner of course back in 2022. Davey Todd is yet to go out, so Hickman has just left, he's gone out, so in fact Davey Todd is now on the track as well. It's just Michael Sweeney back for the first time since 2019. Great to see Michael Sweeney back here, and first rider crossing the line now, Lucas Mora. So Lucas Mora completes a lap, Phil Crowe's gone through, Maurizio Bottolico has also completed a lap. And they're all around just under the 3-minute mark, so half a minute slower than they were. In fact, Erno Costomo has come straight in. So Erno is in. So Hoffman continues on. Paul Jordan has carried on. They get a good mix of nationalities this year: Switzerland, Italy, Finland, Belgium, France, of course. Got Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, the Isle of Man, plus all the British riders as well. So Costomo, the only one that's come in so far at the end of his first lap, but again, maybe just something, a little adjustment. And you'd have to say, to be perfectly honest, with temperatures around the 19 degrees Celsius mark, it's really, really good for the likes this morning. Ryan Whitehall has just come in at the end of his first lap as well. But everyone else has continued. Todd, Simpson and Hickman are all on their first lap of the session. Again, it's nice to have those times at the bottom of the screen, but really mean nothing. And they will mean nothing really this morning. No one will gain anything time-wise or grid-wise. So why do the bikes go first ahead of the cars is often a question that is asked. The main reason, and yet obviously you say, oh, cars drop oil, you know, etc., the track will be greasy, but generally the main reason is that the track has to be altered. There are air fences for the motorcycles which are removed after the bikes have been on track, so the cars can have a bit more road service to use, and obviously they don't need, so you see there, air fences, they have to be removed for the cars. Hickman's continued on, by the way. Davey Todd and Marcus Simpson will be coming around to complete their first laps of this year's Macau Grand Prix. Todd has just crossed the line. So around Mandarin. So Davey Todd into Lisboa. Watching Davey Todd on screen. So first gear into Lisboa, then click into second here, the climb for San Francisco. Third, fourth gear, then a little touch of the brakes. Then back into, start knocking back into second gear through here on the run to maternity. First, second gear. But we now have Peter Hickman on screen. Erno Costomo and Ryan Whitehall are still in pit lane. About half a dozen bikes go past my commentary position here at Macau. Lap time's coming down, 2:37. Paul Jordan the fastest so far. So that record, of course, still stands from 2010. Incredibly, Stuart Easton, the 2:23. Another rider just coming into pit lane. I'm not too sure who that was coming in. Marcus Simpson. So Marcus Simpson's just come in. Just trying to find some more information here. It came up that Marcus Simpson had retired at turn 21. But then carried on again. So turn 21 is just out of Melco, but yeah, so I think that's Ryan Whitehall at the top of your picture that we're looking at there as Peter Hickman goes through Mandarin. Winner back in 2023, four-time Macau Grand Prix winner. And here is Todd still out. Metzler's. And that is the bike that he's on. That's the bike that he won the Isle of Man Senior TT. Or the Senior TT bike, I should say. That's the bike he rode in the Isle of Man Senior TT. Won the Senior TT last year, of course. So it's a super stock with like a superbike frame, etc. It's in fact it's the same bike that he won the Southern 100 in the Isle of Man, won the Southern 100 Championship this year. And of course the same bike that he rode in BSB. However, the difference is in British Superbikes they have to run certain electronics, which they don't need to on the roads. Meanwhile, his teammates at 810 Racing, Peter Hickman, is on the superbike. He has a superbike within the same superbike he rode at the TT, etc. So we're still looking at Davy Todd, winner of the Macau Grand Prix last year, of course, even though it was based on the qualifying session times, as we didn't actually get to run the race. And just see going around there how they're going out, keeping it a little bit wide. That part of the track is really dirty. Where those car parking spaces are, once the cars clear that away, once they've been round, it will certainly be a lot more. You'll see them hugging the Armco a little bit more than they're doing at the moment. Just staying out, staying in the cleaner part of the track. Coming out of Fisherman's towards our bend. You can see in the distance at the top of the picture there, life goes on while a motorcycle free practice session takes place here at the Macau Grand Prix. Paul Jordan, certainly on the pace already in the early stages of this session. So Paul Jordan looking to take certainly fancy Paul Jordan for a top 6 position this year at the very least. In fact, he would be, I would say he would have an eye on a possible podium. It's certainly been a good couple of years for Paul Jordan. He's really improved, really good reputation as a 600cc rider, but he's really shown his mettle on the big super stock bikes, the 1000cc machine. He's riding on Metzler's. In fact, one of the riders, Ulrich Blank, has got Bridgestone. It's been a while since I've seen Bridgestone on a motorcycle. Go through who's on what tyres shortly. Rob Hodgson, who finished 5th last year, and he finished 5th in 2023. And he also finished 5th in 2022. Rob Hodgson of SNT Racing, Robin Croft, who's been coming to Macau for many, many years, the team owner with SNT Racing. He's enjoyed success here as well. They're a team that has been on the top step of the podium, which again reminds me to mention Michael Rutter, the most successful motorcyclist around Macau, 9-time race winner. He's not here this year, unfortunately, following his crash at the Isle of Man TT. Still not quite fully fit. Who's to say he won't be here next year as a 53-year-old? And looking for that perfect 10. Davy Todd's the only rider to go inside 2:32 so far. So Davy Todd was, this is his 5th time at Macau, made his debut back in 2018, qualified 11th on that occasion, finished 9th. The following year, the qualified 12th, row 3. Went on to finish 4th in 2019. Came back in 2023, qualified 2nd, finished 2nd. And then, of course, last year claimed the win. The majority of the field on Pirellis and Metzlers. Davy Todd, he is on Metzler. The exceptions are Rob Hodson, he runs on Dunlop. Peter Hickman runs on Dunlop. Ryan Mitchell's on Dunlop. Michael Sweeney, he's also on Dunlop as well. Sam West is on Dunlop. Blanc is on a Bridgestone. And then we've got Fair. He's on Dunlop as well. Eddie Fair, Frenchman. Quite a few riders have made their way into the pits. Paul Jordan, Rob Hodgson's in, Lucas Mora's in. So too Michael Evans, Mitch Reese, Lauren Hoffman, Omric Blanc, Ryan Whitehall, Marcus Simpson. What's going on with Ono Costomo? So, issue with Ono Costomo is that he had a quick shifter issue, which is all being sorted now. So that was the reason that Erno came in after that first lap. So Ono Costomo came in, quick shifter issue, came back in. Of the field that we have, just looking through, obviously Davy Todd and Peter Hickman have been on the podium before, so too Davo Johnson when he was on the PBM Ducati back in 2019, and I know his good pal Danny Tiato, former footballer, will be watching and supporting from Queensland. There is Paul Jordan. I think he'll be reasonably satisfied with how things have gone. So certainly you'd have to look at the racing this year, and you'd have to say Davy Todd, Peter Hickman and Erno Costomo, who won back in 2022. Those are your three favourites for podium positions ahead of Saturday's race. But who are the guys that could maybe nudge one or two of them off? Certainly Paul Jordan you'd have to put in that bracket. Rob Hodgson you'd have to say would be good with a top 6. Davo Johnson, you'd be thinking if he was outside the top 6, he wouldn't be too happy. Davo Johnson, in fact, a bit of a veteran of Macau. If you look at through the entry list, he's the bit of a veteran here, the Australian rider. He's made his Macau Grand Prix debut back in 2010. And along with, and I think it's Sam West and Peter Hickman, I think this, so I'm pretty sure, just looking through the entry list again now, or was it Michael Sweeney? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, no, it is Sam West, David Johnson, Peter Hickman. This is their 7th time at Macau, and we're obviously without Michael Rutter here this year, so they are the riders, the most experienced riders when it comes to the Motorcycle Grand Prix at Macau. Just noticed there's someone running on at Lisboa. Nothing, I would say, to be too concerned about, as they'll be looking to, I think Hickman's just coming in now, but nothing that they will be too concerned about at this stage, just looking for a breaking point. This is the run that we're talking about coming down to Lisboa. There's the grandstand on the left. You can see a little bit of runoff there. Then tuck in. And into here again, second gear, then into up San Francisco. Third gear, fourth gear. Then knocking it back down to third and second again. And it's really quite steep, San Francisco Hill. The TV pictures level things out. That gearing and some electronic issues as well with his BMW, but he's back out on track. And a really impressive rider, Erno Cosmo, back home in Finland. He's the king of Imatra, of course, which you'd expect, but made his Isle of Man TT debut a couple of years ago and really took his time. Really methodical rider. He really impresses me, really does impress me. And last year was running very similar times to Peter Hickman and Davey Todd during qualifying. I know it was all very sketchy last year here at Macau for all the bikes, but yeah, he could be right in there with them this year come the race. So Davo Johnson also, I think, had some electronic issues. So he's back out on track too. 40 minutes of this session still remain. There is Michael Sweeney. I mentioned earlier, first time back since 2019. First made his debut back in 2014, Michael Sweeney. So, and it's been, and of course, very well documented the injuries he's suffered through racing over the years. And yet he gets himself patched up, back together again. Just looking back through, in fact, it's quite surprising really. He's never actually finished in the top 10, which is a bit of a surprise, but I think certainly he would like to achieve that this year. I only met him briefly this morning to say hello. Not had a chance to chat with him so far, but 13th was his best result when he was back here in 2019. Got a few newcomers as well, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Just looking down now. So this is on screen at the moment. Maurizio Bottalico, we're talking about newcomers. The Italian, the only Italian here this year. Number 40. Majority of this field racing on super stock engines. Erno Cosmo has a superbike engine, but it's a super stock frame. And Rob Dunlop is also, he's got a brand new superbike as well, Rob Hodson, for Macau. So that's a brand new engine. So I think there's only 3, whether you wouldn't call Erno Cosmo's a fully blown superbike, but certainly Peter Hickman, Rob Hodson, Erno Cosmo, all with superbikes. The rest, the likes of Michael Evans, etc., all racing super stock engines. Yeah, it's crucial to get the corners right at Macau, as it is with any racetrack, of course, but certainly coming into the likes of Lisboa. I mean, you're talking in terms of come the race. In fact, they're not too far off it, of course, but going into Lisboa, they're talking over 190 miles an hour. And it's crucial for Lisboa, you have to be fast out of Mandarin, the little kink just before it. Then it's up in the 5th, 6th. You've got to get these corners right on the certainly on the fast bits. Argue maybe that Mandarin the most important corner, perhaps. You've got to be fast out of there. If you can get it out of there, then you're going to have a good lap. If you're not fast out of Mandarin, it can really screw things up. Peter Hickman's still in, by the way. Rob Hodson is currently in. Paul Williams, Lauren Hoffman has just gone out. Marcus Simpson is still in. Erno Cosimo is back in again. So Paul Jordan back out as well. Still in, but again the great thing is they've got plenty of time, and let's hope for similar conditions again tomorrow and 48 hours from now. A little bit later, it's a little bit later on the schedule, the race. It's still the first event of the calendar of the day, I should say, here at Macau, the bikes. Then it will be cars all day, and if you're watching, just remind you, I'm Dave Moore. It will be Alan Hyde and David Addison who will keep you company and bringing you all the latest information and details throughout the day for all the car sessions. So Paul Jordan, it's all going to plan. Brand new bike for him, a couple of laps just to bed it in, check everything's happy, and second quickest in this free practice session, so you'd have to say he is very, very happy. Again, I mentioned Peter Hickman is in. He might just be, I don't need to learn anymore, I'm quite happy. He might just be killing a little bit of time. Davey Todd's by a distance, really, 2:28.5. So he is 5 seconds off, well, lap record pace. You'd have to say he's 3 seconds off race pace. Effectively, you look back over the years, 2 minutes 25. Oh, now then, that's not what we want to see. And I think that will bring the session to a temporary pause. Something's been clipped by the looks of things. And that is a red flag. So the red flag has been issued. Just over half an hour to go. And a little bit, you can see a bit of fluid on the track as well. So now whether or not they will stop the clock or whether they will let the clock continue remains to be seen. So everyone just leisurely making their way back. But again, a little reminder there of what Macau is about. And while it's a challenging Davey Todd being Davey Todd there, and while there are more challenges than you'd expect. Just trying to get a little bit some information. All going to plan so far. I'm hearing for Davy Todd as well. There is, see, very leisurely looking Peter Hickman. Luke Brown looking after him this year in the absence of Darren Jones. Lauren Hoffman back at Macau. So yeah, Lucas Moore have been going quite well. That is Lisboa. Here is Davy Todd. Are you happy with the way things are going so far? The clock is continuing to count. Whether it will be reset remains to be seen. Let's see if we can hear this.
No, I just said like 5 laps.
So there you go. You heard from Peter Hickman. We kind of suggested that might be the case. But certainly, yeah, you heard he did 5 laps, happy with 5 laps. That's it. Davey questioned everything okay. So yeah, looking good. It was Michael Sweeney. Oh dear. So there you see the fluid that I mentioned, but the bike parked up. Michael, though, good to see that he was up on his feet. I'm just looking there. That is Donna Maria. If you know your way around, it's just not far. It's just on the way towards the Melco hairpin. It's towards the top of the circuit. Poor old Michael Sweeney back in Macau after a 6-year gap, and that's certainly not, and I was saying before, he's looking for a top 10 at least. Hopefully the damage to the bike is just a little bit superficial and they can get that sorted, but I don't think we'll be seeing Michael Sweeney again this morning. Hopefully we will see him again tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll have the camera back in pit lane. We might be able to pick up a little bit of conversations that are taking place. Paul Jordan, his previous best is 2 minutes 29.7. And he's done a 2:32.7. Lauren Hoffman, well known by 174, the Belgian rider. So that's Eddie Fair, the French rider that's here, one of 2 French riders at the Macau Grand Prix here this year. So I think obviously he's talking about how do I get back, and I think they're probably saying you've got to go around this way. Well, it's certainly a unique event, the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. He's got to put it up there. The 4 greatest road races in the world, the Isle of Man TT, the Northwest 200, the Ulster Grand Prix, and the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix as well. They're all very, very different, of course.
Poslico in 9th ahead of Sam West. Paul Weed 11th.
That clock is still ticking and we don't expect it to be reset for the rest of the session. They're just discussing Michael Sweeney. That's Michael Sweeney's partner.
get it.
Rob Watson's crew working away on the SMT bike.
He's absolutely fine, up on his feet, perfectly
See the
okay.
Daffer bet machine back in there. The first time they've used Honda this year. Again, I'm just trying to see if we can pick up anything from the microphone on the camera in the pit lane. Now then, is 26 minutes enough to get that cleaned and ready again? But as you heard from Peter Hickman there, he was happy with doing 5 laps. And there's Michael Sweeney, just coming over to say sorry, perhaps. Or maybe, how am I going to get this bike back? But just you can see there as well what the bike has done. Really fair, stuck down at Lisboa. Whether he got pulled in because of the red flag, who knows? Whether he's got an issue. But someone's been kind enough to hand him a bottle of water anyway. But as I was saying, we heard Peter Hickman saying that 5 laps was enough. Maybe for the majority of the riders, they'll be, yeah, we've had enough track time. Obviously, they want as much track time as they can get, but if this could be the end of the session, and I'd say, not that I'm privy to any information on any of this, but certainly some will be reasonably happy ahead of qualifying tomorrow, whereas some of the newcomers will be wanting a little bit more track time. Paul Jordan, we heard, he is very, very happy with the way things are so far. On a brand new bike, managed to get a few laps in. Michael alongside him there as well. Just getting a few messages in from around the world. Apparently it's pouring down with rain back home in the Isle of Man. Michael Evans and Marcus Simpson, the Isle of Man representation. There's Davo Johnson and Rob Hodson. And again, the teams, you can see garage space is really precious. You get 4 bikes to a pit garage down here. For Rob Hodson just waving hello. That brand new superbike. And there's Danny Horn and Michael Evans with the Daffer bet machine. Really happy with the way their prep has been with a brand new bike. And here's a picture that we'll see a little bit, well, quite a lot of, I think, over the next 3 days. Hopefully, no, not with the motorcycles. Let's hope this is the last time we see this. You can just see the bike is being collected. Whether we might get another 10 minutes or so towards the end. It's fairly second gear pretty much over the all the way over the top from San Francisco through to Melco. 1 or 2 clip into third here and there. Eddie Fair is making his way back. He's given the all clear to continue. Eddie, a newcomer to Macau this year. Always good to get the mop out. So Lauren Hoffman in conversation. Oh, they are talking in English, so there is, you'd have to say, for a lot of people, race favourite. In fact, if you've seen the promotional video that's doing the rounds on social media, Peter Hickman stating that he is going to win this year's Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix. His teammate and co-owner of 810 Racing might have something to say about that. Yeah, that's a new saying, I suppose, in motorcycle racing. If you're going to win, the first person you've got to beat is your team co-owner. So normally it's your teammate. Obviously they are teammates, but yeah. And Davey Todd, having been given the win last year, he won the Macau Grand Prix, but he's yet to win a Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix race, which is something Peter Hickman has done 4 times. Ono Costomo did it, of course, back in 2022. And they are the only previous winners that we have in the lineup for the Macau Motorcycle Grand Prix this year.
I get shit. So I got my first flight lap. Oh, it's working. Never even come along.
So with 20 minutes remaining, I'm quietly confident that we'll get things going again. There's Don Gilbert, another newcomer to Macau this year. Yeah, it seems gone are the days used to have 30 riders on the grid. With now they've trimmed it down to 20. And Paul Williams, another regular here at Macau. He managed the top 10 back in 2022. He was one of the few British riders to come out and do all the quarantine for the COVID regulations back then. So he qualified 11th that year, finished 10th, 13th back in 2023, and he was given 15th overall last year. Just back of the picture there, SMT owner Robin Croft. He's been coming to Macau. I mentioned about certainly Hickman and Johnson, etc. This is their 7th year in Macau. Robin Croft has been coming many, many years. So Eddie Fair has made it back. Still waiting for Michael Sweeney to make it back, of course. There we go, green flag. We are open. We are back in business, folks. With just under 20 minutes to go. No one is rushing at the moment, but I think that kind of suggests that things are generally okay. And there has to be good camaraderie between the teams. You can see there that very little room in the garages, and therefore people will be nudging into each other, one another. So yeah. Davey Todd really has made an impact on motorcycle racing since his debut back in 2018. Comes from a off-road background, was doing motocross, all manner of racing as a youngster. And it really has been a measure of the talent of the man, how he has really gripped the world of road racing. Isle-of-Man TT winner, senior TT winner, of course. And he'd really like to cap things off with a race win here at Macau. You have to say if you were betting, you would have to say Davey, Todd and Peter Hickman are the red hot favourites here, and the rest really fighting for third place. But who knows? So Paul Jordan's out, Hickman's gone out, Mora's gone out, Rob Hodgson has gone out, Philip Crowe has gone out, Bottalico's out, Paul Williams, Michael Evans, Lauren Hoffman, Don Gilbert, Omric Blanc, Marcus Simpson are out. A quarter of an hour left. We'll be coming up to the section very soon where Michael Sweeney had his issue. We'll get to see what the track is looking like as well. Well, there might be one or two who will be thinking to come into Donna Maria. This is it. Now there you go. You can see the dust is down. Everyone avoiding it, but again, and they'll be avoiding that left-hand side. It will be dirty, and that will, whether that played an issue for Michael Sweeney. Once the cars have been through there and swept all that away, you'll see the riders will be much closer to the Armco tomorrow morning during qualifying and certainly during the race on Saturday. But Michael Sweeney maybe just hit a little bit of dirty bit of road. And of course, cars that sit there and park there the rest of the year will be dropping all manner of liquids upon the surface, so the surface will have been cleaned up by the authorities here in Macau, but still it will be a little bit dirty. And once it's been scrubbed away by the cars later on today, you'll see the bikes a lot more closer to the wall. So Peter Hickman leading the charge through Mandarin again. Here, this bit right there, arguably the most crucial part of the circuit. You have to get the speed exit super to blast your way down into Lisboa, get Lisboa right, and then you set up for a very, very fast lap of the gear circuit at Macau. Davey Todd has now rejoined, so too Mitch Reese, he's gone out. Sam West, Bottalico's out as well, Michael Evans, David Johnson. Mentioned Michael Evans there with Dafabet once again this year. I know Phil Kane of United Gas and Power in Yorkshire will be watching his boy with interest. Here, Dafabet been coming to Macau for quite some time. No one's going over the car parking spaces at Donna Maria. They're just kissing the white line, and then it's down here. A little bit hot there for Hickman into Melco. You see how tight it is on the exit as well. And then second, third, fourth, fifth gear. Took around 150, 160 miles an hour coming towards here into Fisherman's. To knock back into second, then back up through the gearbox again, third, fourth, fifth, 150 mile an hour plus. Then coming into Fisherman's, into our bend, knock back into third, then fourth and fifth through this section. So Hickman with a 2:31.3, a tenth of a second outside Paul Jordan. And you'd have to say, the way Paul Jordan, he's been riding the last couple of years, he would be quietly confident of certainly getting on the podium here at Macau this year. Maybe Erno Costomo is spending more time in the pits than he is on track. But sometimes that can be a better thing. Davey Todd is up in the ante. He keeps putting purple sectors in. He's just done another one. You see on your timing screen there, the first sector, which is into Mandarin. It's a very 24.7 seconds. There's only Ryan Whitehall, Eddie Furr and Erno Costomo that are still in the pits following that red flag session. Ryan Whitehall has just gone out. I was going to say he was still in, but he's gone back out. Look how tight this part is. You can hear it there. Just roll off, get through the bend, back on the bower into Donna Maria. There you can see, just on the picture, the aftermath of Michael Sweeney's issue. Now, Erno Costomo apparently is on track, even though the timing screen is saying that he is in pit lane. Still waiting for news on Michael Sweeney, whether he's made it back yet or not. It's certainly there's no access road, for want of a better phrase, to make it back. Whether he has to sit and wait until the end of the session, or whether he can get back to the paddock in time. His bike was collected by the truck. I didn't see the truck coming in, but the truck would have gone on the track to make its way back. Hodson in the 44, something of a veteran as well here at Macau, looking to improve on his 5th place finishes of the past 3 years. A steady top 6 rider, and he's also someone that's capable of making onto the podium here at Macau with 8 minutes left on the clock. So Michael Sweeney, I can tell you exactly what happened. The water pipe blew, and that put fluid on the tyre, and that's what, so he didn't clip anything. It didn't look like he clipped anything. There didn't seem to be any markers, so there you go. So the water pipe blew off, put fluid on the tyre, and poor Michael Sweeney, down he went. And that would have been a shock. So all my little theories about dirty car parking spaces proved to be unfounded. But good news to say that's what happened with Michael Sweeney. Just looking for some more information on Erno Costomo, because it's still showing as the only rider that's in. Moore has gone back out, Eddie Fair has gone back out. And so here we go. Erno Costomo is on track, but the transponder is not picking up the signal. So that's why it's showing on the, you see there, 20 or 20th position, number 38, Costa on the screen in pit. No, he's not. He is actually out on the track. The issue with the transponder, that's what's happening. So fuel pump issues apparently as well with that BMW. But if you're going to have issues, this is the session in which to have them. One man not having any issues at the moment is Paul Jordan. He's getting a super tow out of Mandarin, going down towards Lisboa. It's a beautiful sound, isn't it? Just hear him just backing off to Mandarin and then back on the power, going up to 190 miles an hour. And there, just you see just where he shot off there, where that little white line is. Maybe that's his little marker. Davy Todd going into Lisboa. Then up through San Francisco, so much steeper than it looks. That picture flattens it out, but it is good to see the little front rises there, and at speed both wheels will momentarily lift off the ground at the top of San Francisco. Very, very scary. They just have to back it off a little bit for maternity. And again, some of the riders will tell you that through here it is so unfamiliar, or familiar maybe is perhaps the phrase to use, because it all looks the same. And sometimes you can suddenly think, oh, I'm here, but in fact you're somewhere else, because it looks just like the left-hand turn that's coming up further on. But Davy Todd's setting a marker here. It's a free practice session, but he's putting in big, big times. And of course, he's in his happy place now with this BMW. It's not running to British Superbike specifications. It's running to the specifications that he likes, that he's used to. The British Superbike rules state that they have to use certain electronics, etc., suspension settings, manufacturers. But Davy Todd will say, some people will say, why is he only 15th or whatever in BSB and yet he's going so well elsewhere? And he's got this BMW singing sweetly as he likes. And even though he's 3 seconds faster so far than his teammate Peter Hickman, I don't think will be too concerned at the moment the way things are going. As Rob Hodgson comes round to complete another lap. And already, we are less than an hour into the first session. It's nice to see some rubber down as well coming out of our bend. Costomo is back. The transporter is sorted by the looks of things. He's now showing as 5th fastest, so that's good. Here's Mitch Rees. No, in fact, that isn't, but Mitch Rees is coming up on the screen, and that's quite impressive. 7th position for the New Zealander. So Mitch Rees has certainly been impressive as he's made his debut at certain tracks around the road racing world. Little rear lift there for the Kiwi as he comes into Fisherman's. So he's certainly looking at home for someone who's not been here before. We would expect Mitch Rees as a name we'll hear a lot more of in the future, the way he's going. Mitch is running Metzler's, one of the riders to run a Metzler tyre. Hickman comes into view once again. So he'll get another lap in. One more lap to go then for Peter Hickman in this free practice session. And he goes a little bit quicker, 2:28.4, so he's improved it by just 0.8 of a second. He's gone quicker on that lap. But as I keep mentioning, and I'm sure you're all well aware of, it's not about lap times in this session. Oh yeah, they'll give a boost to confidence, etc. It's getting that bike absolutely right, getting it in the sweet zone. Hickman's time pushes Jordan back into third. But you'd have to say, just looking at the top 5, as Mitch Reese is actually 6th fastest now. That is a surprise. But you'd have to say the top 5 is what you kind of expect. Todd, Hickman, Jordan, Hodson, Costomo. Might have expected David Johnson to have been a little bit closer. He's 10th quickest so far. But just looking further down. And it's interesting to note as well, the two riders who put in the most laps, absolutely no surprise. Bottalico, the Italian, he's actually come back in. He's done 16 laps along with Don Gilbert as well. So newcomers, yeah, they're doing exactly the right thing. They're just out, lap, 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 getting to learn. It's more about knowing the circuit. As the checkered flag is about to come out. So that's the end of free practice. The bike's obviously still on track at the moment. But yeah, Davey Todd actually has put in 15 laps, along with Lucas Mora and Phil Crow. Mitch Reese, 14 laps, you'd expect. David Johnson's done 14 laps as well. Bruno Cosmo showing us 5, but there's been a few more than 5 laps. He had those transponder issues. Michael Sweeney had managed 9 laps before his little issue. And the interesting one as well, Ryan Whitehall, not done as many laps as I'd expected, whether he's had some issues, and Marcus Simpson as well. He's only managed 7 laps. We'll certainly find that out soon. And if we don't find out during this session, we'll certainly know by tomorrow morning exactly what has happened. David Todd does do 16 laps as well. He crosses the line. We want to maybe keep an eye on as Rob Hodson comes around. Let's just see if Rob can improve on a 2:29.3. Oh, he will. So he did 2:29.3, Rob Hodson. And he does a 2:28.8. Third quickest in free practice. Costomo does a 2:29.1 to go 4th fastest ahead of Paul Jordan. Mitch Reese in 6th. Wow. Well done, Mitch. As you'd expect, Davey Todd and Peter Hickman topping the time charts. Maybe you wouldn't have expected Davey Todd to be 2 seconds quicker than Hickman, but as I said, there's nothing to be gained in terms of the qualifying grid with the times you put in now. In fact, let's see. Just looking to see who else is due to come in. A couple more bikes left on track. But good, we've got a pretty much a full session in this morning here at Macau for the motorcycles. We did have that 10 minutes or so when unfortunately Michael Sweeney had that water pipe issue, which put fluid onto his back tyre and put him down at Donna Maria. have to say as well, there are certain parts that you wouldn't want that to happen. Generally, you wouldn't want that to happen anywhere around this track, but certainly when you're going to come off, you want to come off while you're in second gear, I suppose. So I would fully expect to see Michael Sweeney on track for tomorrow morning's qualifying session, which is at the same time as this morning. And of course, we've got the race schedule on Saturday. They'll have a warm-up lap for 10 minutes, and they'll come in ahead of the race. We'll see, maybe we might be able to get picking something. But what about this guy, Mitchell Rees? He'll be beaming. He'll be enjoying himself at the moment. So yeah, Mitchell Rees, there he is, 6th fastest in free practice, with a 2:31.3 as well. I think that would be beyond his expectations. But a good indication. It's a free practice session, of course, but a good indication of what we might anticipate during qualifying and racing come Saturday. David Johnson eventually pushing himself into 9th there, ahead of Michael Evans. Still a couple of riders still making their way back, but they're going off into pit lane. So times you'd expect, I would say, for a free practice session: Todd 2:26, Hickman 2:28, Hobson 2:28, Costomo and Jordan 2:29, then into the 2:30s for pretty much everyone else till you get to Don Gilbert 2:40. So let's enjoy some highlights from this morning's free practice session. The Macau Grand Prix is certainly back, folks.